Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the FPL Lounge. So, what should we do with Mohamed Salah? What should we do with the Spurs assets? Which Manchester City asset should we try to bring in? In today's video, we'll try to find answers to some of these questions. But before getting into that, please do consider subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. The biggest question right now is what to do with Mohamed Salah. He recently tested positive for COVID-19 and it is still unclear as to how long he would be out. So in such a scenario, should we keep him or sell him? He is currently priced at 12.3 million and he has an ownership of 43.4%. Just before the news broke out, he had an ownership of around 50%. But around 3 lakh managers worldwide have already transferred him out. If you look at his stats this season, he has scored 8 goals, which is the joint highest. He has provided 1 assist and his total FPL points is 67. Looking at the underlying stats, he averages 2.8 shots per game this season, which is the 4th highest by any player. He averages 2.6 key passes per game, which is the 5th highest by any player. He has also created 21 chances, which is the most by any player this season. Expected goals is just below 6 and expected assists is 2.04. And this is Mohamed Salah that we are talking about. He was the top scorer in FPL in 2018-19 and 2017-18. He was the second top scorer last season. The upcoming fixtures include Brighton away, Wolves home and Fulham away. But it really doesn't matter because Salah is fixture proof. He's a big game player, he's on penalties for Liverpool as well, and you expect him to score points whenever he's on the pitch. And that is why my verdict would be to keep him in your team, because he's not going to be out for more than 1 or 2 game weeks, and after that you would wish to bring him back. So why waste a transfer? And that is unless you're free hitting or wildcarding. In case you're wildcarding, then you might want to bring him out and bring in someone like a Bruno Fernandes or a Kevin De Bruyne, and later look to bring Salah back. But for the 43.4% of the managers who still own Salah, stick to him. The second biggest question right now is what to do with Harry Kane and Son Heung-min, 2 of the highest scoring players in the game. So why are we even looking to get them out? It's because in their next 5 games, they face Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool, some of the toughest fixtures. So before getting into a conclusion, let's look at the stats. Kane is currently priced at 11 million, whereas Son is priced at 9.6 million. At 58%, Son has a higher ownership compared to Kane's 45%. Son is the leading goal scorer this season with 8 goals, but Kane is not far behind with 7 goals. But when it comes to assists, Kane is the leader this season with 8 compared to the 2 of Son. Kane is the top scorer in FPL this season with 80 points and Son stands second at 74 points. They have similar key passes per game, but when it comes to shots per game, Kane has almost double the number of Son. They have both created 18 chances in the league so far, and Kane takes the cake once again when it comes to expected goals and expected assists. If we look at how Kane has done against his upcoming opponents, he has 10 goals and 1 assist against Arsenal in 11 games, 6 goals and 2 assists against Liverpool in 10 games, 4 goals and 2 assists against Chelsea in 10 games, 2 goals and 2 assists against Manchester City in 8 games. And that highlights how much of a big game player Kane is. If we compare that to Son, he has 1 goal and 3 assists against Arsenal in 7 games, 1 goal against Liverpool in 6 games, 2 goals against Chelsea in 7 games, and 2 goals and 1 assist against Manchester City in 8 games, which is not quite bad, but average when compared to Kane. And adding to that, Son has blanked in his last 2 games, so that is why my verdict would be to keep Kane and sell Son. The next big question is which Manchester City asset to bring in post game week 9, and that is because in the next 7 games, they have home fixtures against Burnley, Fulham, West Brom and Newcastle, some of the best fixtures on paper. So the players that most people are looking at are Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Joao Cancelo and Gabriel Jesus. Let's take a look at them one by one. De Bruyne this season has scored a total of 27 points, which includes a goal and 3 assists, and that is quite low by his standards. But if you look at the underlying stats, he averages 2.3 shots per game and 3.5 key passes per game. He has also created 20 chances in the league. Raheem Sterling this season has scored a total of 33 points, which includes 2 goals and 1 assist. He averages 1.4 shots per game and 1.1 key passes per game. He has created 8 chances in the league so far. Cancelo has been Pep Guardiola's first choice left back in recent games. He has scored 24 points in total and his attacking returns include 1 assist. He averages 2.8 key passes per game and he has created 11 chances in the league so far. Gabriel Jesus has just recently returned from injury. He has played just 2 games this season, but he has scored a goal in each of those games. He averages 2.5 shots per game and he has scored a total of 15 points. And out of these options, for me, Kevin De Bruyne is the best pick. He was the top scoring player in FPL last season. And speaking of this season, he has the most key passes per game by any player. He has also created the second most chances by any player along with Bruno Fernandes. Raheem Sterling would be the second best option. He was the 4th highest goal scorer last season. He had the 3rd most FPL points in 2018-19 and he has scored a total of 200 and plus FPL points in the last 3 seasons. So that highlights his consistency. Cancelo would be the differential pick. He currently has an ownership of 2.2% and he could provide points in both attack as well as defense. He ranks 2nd this season when it comes to most chances created by a defender, second only to Alexander-Arnold, and Alexander-Arnold has played more games than Cancelo. But the problem with Cancelo is that Benjamin Mendy would soon be back and that could jeopardize his playing minutes. Gabriel Jesus is the riskiest pick out of them all and that is because Sergio Aguero is expected back soon. Guardiola usually prefers Aguero as the sole striker up front. And when Aguero and Jesus play together, Jesus is pushed to a wider position compared to Aguero. So that might limit his goal scoring potential. Alright, so that's it for today. If you like the content then please show your support by pressing the like button and sharing the video with your friends. Thank you for watching.